a lot of these companies are very overexposed to each other, and they're very exposed to lending, and they're very exposed to other cryptocurrencies, right? So if you have Bitcoin and BlockFi, you are still exposed to like the risk that's in this environment, right? So I think that we're certainly learning a lot about how the crypto market operates and how intertwined a lot of these businesses are. I don't think that was clear to me prior to seeing really what happened, where all these things started crashing. Like, I mean, man, if all it takes is one, if Tether can go down, Tether's just one cryptocurrency. I mean, if you think all these cryptocurrencies are worthless, that's just one of them. like that should be frightening to you that the economy overall is so brittle, right? So I think that was a shock, right? I'm not sure what to say about that, but also at the same time, it's we haven't seen that cascading contagion, right? A lot of the other DeFi products are still operating. The market's still largely intact. I mean, I'm really interested to see, and I think this is what the market will test all of those things. So I think that, and I think Bitcoin is, for whatever reason, it's. I think Terra increased people's perception of Bitcoin's risk profile, whether fairly or unfairly. And so I think if we start seeing other things fail, because of this continued, risk pouring out in the market, Bitcoin's not going to be insulated from that. I don't think there are people who understand the differences well enough.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I've certainly experienced that in my own life.
This Mung Beans guy loves me. He's like, I don't know who this guy is, but I'm reading everything.
Shout out the Twitch fam, Mung Beans.
Shout out to Mung Beans.
Yeah, I've certainly experienced it in my own life. Like, I've had people, family members reach out and be like, man, so like this Bitcoin thing, like not doing too well. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, well, I heard about Celsius and Terra, like this is bad. I'm like, they're not the same thing. And they're like, wait, what? I don't understand.
Right.
Like,
yeah. There's just no understanding. Yeah. There's no
understanding. And I think it's super frustrating.
Right. Yeah, but again, like I always go back to it, and the message I like to send to people is like, you have to go forth and build, and we have to continue building the Bitcoin economy, right? And I think this is the trick of bull markets, is they like convince you that it's happening right now. Oh my God, and that you don't have to do anything. And if you're still here in Bitcoin, there's good reason. Like, we're building something worthwhile. We're building a system that doesn't have any of these awful features of the traditional economy, but you have to help us get there, right? And with your whatever you can do to help, whether it's building a company, starting a company, moving forward, starting Meetup, you should do that. Bull market's a great time to do that, right? Bear market's a great time to do that. Now is when the things get built that will happen next time around. But look, I said this in the McCormick podcast at the start of the year. It's like I tried to send the message of like, be very careful about the narratives that you fall for, right? Bitcoin has this habit of the price goes up, so we think we're right, and we think the market thinks we're right, and then you just get rugged completely, right? So yeah, you want to be careful of that. I think that every narrative that advances in Bitcoin probably has some truth to it, right? Some part of it is correct, but then at some point it becomes, a parody of itself, and it becomes incorrect. And I think that's what stock to flow, what happened, right? The genesis of the idea was thoughtful, right? It was that can we quantify this relationship between Bitcoin scarcity and time? If Bitcoin scarcity exists, if it's programmatic, if it's predictable, is there a relationship that we can quantify mathematically? Unfortunately, I think the answer is no, right? Because I think the missing piece of the puzzle is you can't factor for the macroeconomic environment in which people are still taking resources from that economy and investing in our economy. So that's the disconnect. Those things don't match up one-to-one. But we still, I think should look into this idea of, okay, well, what does Bitcoin programmatic scarcity mean? Like, because it still exists, right? There's still some function there, and it still impacts the market in some way. And we need to continue exploring it, right? I'm not sure what the right answer is, but we don't have one right now.